Is there anything going on in the car world?
Oh wait,
Tesla's stock was at like 109.
Tesla. It's funny. That's where I was headed. So
toilet,
every time you come on this show, you make the forecast, the prediction that the Cybertruck will never happen.
Have I been wrong yet?
Elon Musk, world-renowned truth teller, has said that the Cybertruck will be coming out in 2023. He's like, it's a real thing. It's going to happen 2023.
Sure. Yeah, which it was a real thing in 2020, 2021, 2022 also. Yes.
You left out 19. That's when it was actually due. But yeah.
It was real all those times too.
So you're sticking with it. I started to waver. I started when he was like, hey, reminder, Cybertruck's happening.
Sure. Yeah.
Or maybe he's just saying that because of what's Tesla's stock price. Tesla was the worst performing company in the S&P 500 this year.
Yeah. Well, because I don't necessarily wish their shareholders harm, right? And and if you like the Tesla Model 3 or Model S or Model Y, you should buy one. Like I'm not going to go out there and say don't buy a Tesla if it fits your needs. I write about cars for a living, and like I want you, the royal you, to have the car that makes you happy, even if it's a car like I don't particularly like your needs are different from mine. So like whatever, if you want to buy a car and that's a Tesla, like fucking buy one. Like I don't give a shit. It doesn't matter to me. But what I don't want is corporations lying to people, whether that's FTX and Alameda, or whether that's Tesla, or whether that's anybody. Like I'm anti-fraud, and I'm anti bullshit. And so it's obvious at this point that the whole full self-driving thing was a scam, or if not a scam, I mean scam involves a mens rea or whatever, right? Which I believe it was highly optimistic at a fucking minimum, but mildly also bullshit. And a lot of the stock price, the big run on the stock, the huge run started in 2019, right around when they started saying our cars will be able to drive themselves, which was a lie then. It's a lie now. And that's been pretty much proven at this point.
I have this thing happening, right? If you're remodeling my bathroom and you say, Woody, this thing will be done in a week, and it takes you 10 days, 16 days, then you were just wrong, right? You weren't lying to me. Your estimate was just off. If you say, Woody, this thing will be done in a week, and it takes you 27 weeks, then it was a lie. Right? Yes. You were full of shit. There's no way that you really thought it was going to be done in a week. You were just lying to me. Yeah. That's where I am with Elon Musk and most of the stuff that he says he'll sell.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was one of the most viral tweets of the last month was a guy who said, and I don't remember who the actual tweet was, but the fundamental context of the tweet was, I don't know anything about electric cars, but Elon came with electric cars and people said he was a genius, and I don't know anything about electric cars, so I assume they were right. I don't know anything about rockets, and people said he was a genius with rockets, and so I assume they were right. But I know software, and he said some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard in the last month. And so I'm staying the fuck away from his cars and his rockets. And I think the Twitter thing, and full disclosure, up until November 4th, my wife was the director of research at Twitter. And so I have some insidery stuff that I can't necessarily talk about, but believe you me, everything that's been made public is fucking nothing compared to what happened behind the scenes with all that. But a lot more people know about software and then know about electric cars or rockets. And I think everyone is learning that this guy is not a genius. He's an investor. He's made a few right moves here and there. He's had a couple of good ideas, but his genius is not transferable to all media all the time. And that's what a lot of this crazy inflated stock price was. And if you look at Tesla as a company that builds and sells cars, then it was ridiculously overvalued It's not a tech company. It's not some tech. It's not the Amazon. It's not iTunes. It's not even Bitcoin. It's just a company that makes cars, and you can give them credit where credit is due. They made electric cars cool by building a good-looking and fast electric car 10 years ago. But their technology is incredibly stagnant. They've rested on their laurels in some places, like build quality and incremental improvements. And they've bet it all on black with full self-driving, which was a total fucking scam. It has not materialized, and using the existing technology that they have, it will not materialize. It's not possible.
They're putting radar in the cars now, or LiDAR.
Well, they took it out. The earlier cars had it. They took it out and said, we don't need it. We are camera only. It's possible with camera only.
It's better.
Every other serious player said, bullshit. And now they're putting it back. So everyone else was right and they were wrong. And now we're seeing in real time with Twitter how not a genius Elon Musk is.
Meanwhile, if you paid $10,000 for self-driving and you have a car that doesn't have radar in it, just know it will never be good.
It's highly likely at this point that you have bought a car. If you had bought the quote full self-driving option, and oh, by the way, as of 2 days ago, a new California law has made it illegal to use the term full self-driving in California. They have declared that misleading. And so beginning in 23,
taking care of the big problems first in California.
look,
going down the list.
I love California, but at a governmental level, we fuck up a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I love my sunshine. I love my windy roads. I love my beaches. I love my legalized weed. You know, but California government does fuck up on a regular basis. And so I won't defend that. But every once in a while, they fucking hit one. And they have made it illegal starting. They haven't given an exact date. It's not like by January 12th, but it said the law says starting in 2023, it is illegal to use the term full self-driving because it's misleading. And I agree with that. And for years I've been saying, like, won't somebody do something about this? And finally they have.
You know, there's a lot of things that I'm the Elon Musk hater on the show. But I do admire how he swings for the fences. You know, when he tries to do full self-driving, when he tries to do the boring company, SpaceX, whatever, he's always going for this home runs, for these grand slams. And every one of these falls short of what he's going for. But I mean, he's done something special, right?
I mean, putting something like being in like I don't really, I'm not that pro or against him, but like it seems like ambition is probably his best quality. Like he clearly wants a piece of everything. Yeah, like
man's potent.
He's potent. He's ambitious. Like he wants his hand in every pie. Like,
what do y'all
think
that
about? Kind of like if you've like worked in business worlds, like Woody knows, like all of us know. Is it like always the like smartest guy at the top, or is it very often the dude who fucking wakes up, grinds, wants that like next level, like wants to attain it, like it's a goal in itself for that guy? Often that's not the guy who's like a genius coming up with the ideas. He just surrounds himself with people who know how to do it because he wants so much to achieve that.
Well, look, that's how doing that is how you end up really fucking rich in a world of VC cash. It's not how you save the planet, and it's not how you build an ethical, sustainable business model in a world where the fundamentals of your business really matter. You know, it's just, you know, if you judge Tesla as a car company, it's massively overvalued. SpaceX, if you judge that, it's a government contractor. Like that company's a government contractor, and here's Elon Musk and his other company at Twitter like shitting on the government while basically being an enormous government contractor. Like there's a double speak there that doesn't really work out. And look, if you want to go, well, okay, respect to Elon Musk because he's one of the 5 or whatever richest people in the world. Well, that's your level of judging him. Like, okay, but he's positioned himself as someone who's going to save the planet, and I think
that's
the
marketing.
actions he's taken have actually been more towards I'm going to be the richest guy on the planet. And figure out a way to get the fuck off this planet before bad things really happen, then I'm actually going to improve the lives of a significant number of people.
I don't believe for a second that he's like obsessed with like, oh, how are the people of Romania and those poor neighborhoods going to get around when the oil dries? What are we going to like? No, it's just a marketing way to frame Tesla and his other endeavors in order to get like green money from the government.
And now with what he's doing with Twitter, he's abandoning all those, all the lefties that wanted to buy, So Tesla is so interesting because it allowed you to, and I'm going to quote my friend Alex Roy on this. Tesla allowed you to virtue signal and vice signal at the same time. You could go, I'm saving the planet with my Tesla, and oh, by the way, it runs a 9-second quarter mile. Yeah. I'm not sacrificing anything. It looks like an Aston Martin, and I'm fucking running 9s. I'm drag racing Lamborghinis, and I'm saving the planet while I'm doing. You could virtue signal and vice signal at the same time, which is so interesting. And that's a concept that my friend Alex Roy was really talking about a lot, and he's very, very smart about this kind of stuff. He's like a kind of a philosopher in that regard. But yes,
I want to get in. We talked about Tesla's valuation, and it kind of flew by. I'm not sure it's overvalued anymore. And I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying I'm not sure. It's exactly what I said. Ford's valuation, PE ratio, is about 7, right? So if you buy Ford, it'll kick off enough profits to give you the money back in 7 years. All right, cool. And then every year after that, now you're in the money. Cool. Mm-hmm. Tesla's valuation is about 30. That's about their PE ratio. So why would you buy a company? It takes 30 years to pay you back. It's about growth. If you told me Ford was going to quadruple in size, I'd say, I'm suspicious. Is Ford really going to quadruple their market share, their size, their customer base? If you told me Tesla was going to quadruple, I'd say, oh, well, maybe. And then when they do, their price earnings ratio is right in line with Ford's.
Well, look, I mean, that is a rational, level-headed way to look at a stock price. And look, I'm not a stock guy. I'm not.
Wait,
I talk
you're
about
Jewish,
cars.
right?
Yeah, right. Like I am. Happy Hanukkah. But I'm not really a stock guy. I have finance people that handle my finances, and I'm a car guy. So I honestly, truthfully, can't speak to the nuance of stock valuations in a way that can bring new light to it. But I will say.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
No, sorry. I will say that what they've not done is invest in Tesla. Invest in realistic new product. I do not consider the Cybertruck that, and they have aging current product. And they put a lot of let's call it I don't know. I don't have the word right now, but like they put a lot of their hopes and dreams on the self-driving cars thing and really oversold it far beyond what they can deliver. And even Elon Musk himself, who should never be believed at his word because his word is fucking terrible. I mean, if you listen to everything he says and consider that news, you're the sucker at this point.
He's a hype guy.
He's a hype guy, but even he said, the valuation of Tesla is dependent on the self-driving thing working, which it's not going to in current state. They just don't have right now the fundamentals of car building to deliver on that. Now, they may at some point with rational leadership, with rational investment, with investments into the fundamentals, but they don't have it now. And so I don't necessarily think that at $100 or $110 a share, they're super, super overvalued. I thought at 400, when their company's worth $1 trillion somehow with a 2% market share, that's fucking crazy. I mean, that's just that doesn't make any sense. That's based on them delivering a product.
It's a tech company. Have you not seen their dancing robots?
Yeah, right. Boston Dynamics with like a word.
They literally put people in robot outfits and had them dance and said they were getting into artificial intelligence.
That's hilarious. That's like something I would pull as the CEO.
It's
so terrible.
We're pivoting entirely to animatronic dinosaurs.
The next year, in an effort to show their progress, they used real robots, and they were terrible and
no, they just used a more athletic guy. Was
that Andrew Tate in that suit?
Yeah, he was doing some.
Yeah, the counter argument to Tesla being like undervalued or appropriately valued that I made before is that they reached the success they did based on government subsidies, helping people pay for their cars, low interest rates. They reached the success that they did when there was no competition, when it was the Tesla against the Chevy. Is it Bolt? I don't even know. And they were better than that. Well, now buckle up because VW and Audi and Ford and GM and everyone else is going to get into this market, and they make high quality cars with quality control. And they've been doing this for a long time. And Tesla
has some ideas like Tesla's UI with the tablets and that kind of stuff. I'm not saying they haven't had some good ideas. Like they have, they've absolutely had some good ideas, and there's some really smart people that work there. And I don't want to take away from their real products that they've delivered, which they exist. You see them out on the road every day, but the mainstream automakers are coming. The EV credits are running out. Their era of exclusivity is over, and that's not going to swing back the other way. I mean, mainstream automakers are only delivering more and more EVs and transitioning more and more of their product lines to EVs every single year. And every time someone is unhappy with their Tesla for one reason or another, when they're looking to replace it, they're going to have more options than ever before.
Do you think that, just so I'm tracking, does Tesla still have the best electric cars? Or you're saying at this point, they're not even better than Ford's, or I don't even know who the example would be for.
No, I mean, it depends on how you want to judge it. Right. So what Tesla does have, and what is unfortunately not good for society, is the private supercharger network, which is more reliable than the general public supercharger network. Now, that's great if you own a Tesla. But if you want to look at the world, it's not good, because it's a waste of space and a waste of energy to have any kind of charging area that's only good for one make of car. Imagine gas station. Imagine you had to take your Ford to a Ford gas station and there's a Chevy gas station right fucking there. I mean, that would be terrible, right? And that's what we're looking at with Tesla charging, right? It's great if you own a Tesla. It's reliable because the software only needs to interact with one type of car as opposed to with every type of car. Remember when Apple CarPlay first started, and it was really wonky with all the different types of cars, but they sort of figured it out eventually. That's where we're at with.
So Teslas would only be able to charge at Tesla stations, and everything else would have to charge at the everything else station.
Well, Teslas can charge everywhere.
Oh, okay.
But other cars can't charge at Tesla stations right now. That's what we're looking at right now. So good for Tesla owners, bad for the world.
So that'll literally be their big selling point if they maintain that network over time, where it'll be like a Verizon map, where it'll be like, here's the access to energy if you don't have a Tesla. Here's what it looks like if you do. And
now
that's
in Europe, in the European Union, Tesla stations are legally required in many countries in the EU to provide power to non-Teslas.
Yeah,
So
they're required to have batteries that can come out too. That ain't happening here. So this sounds like Tesla has a huge future. If he can if he can use his control over the government's entire space program, because he's the only one sending us up there anymore, right? Like to get him to be like, hey, maybe you just let us do this little monopoly thing where we put our charging stations everywhere. And hey, look, the thing about a Tesla station, it draws so much power. We can't have a Ford or GM station within 3 city blocks of any of them. Well, yeah, we do have a lot of them, and it is going to be hard for them to find a place to put theirs.
I don't think it's
them
the same
legislating their way.
I think it's a different department you're talking to, but
they're all interconnected, right?
But
with the reptilians,
without something like the EU regulating it, which right now we don't have, they do have an advantage there. Having said that, the cars themselves have in many ways lost their first mover advantage that they have.
Yeah, for sure.
Ford, not just Ford and General Motors, Audi, Porsche, you have, and not to mention you have startups like Lucid and Rivian.
Audi and Porsche make more sense anyway to compete against someone who's going to buy $100,000 Tesla. They're probably.
I mean, I just drove the Lucid Air, dude. The Lucid Air is way nicer than the Tesla Model S. I mean, it doesn't have the supercharger network, but it's a nicer product. The Rivian trucks and SUVs are dope as
I've been in one of those.
They're awesome. They're so. I mean, they're expensive. They're not
well
for everybody,
thought out.
But they're built. You would never get in a Rivian and go, this is the company's first vehicle. It's built super, super nicely. And then you've got, whether you agree with it or not, the government is forcing all mainstream manufacturers to produce a certain number of electric vehicles. The Hyundai Ioniq and the Kia EV6 are super nice. I mean, really, I have my wife drives every day the Ford Mach-E, which is a really nice product.
Tesla is losing its prestige because of
they got a 15 to 20 year first mover advantage that they could have really intelligently worked with and worked from, but from the Twitter thing and all this other shit, they're burning that credibility by not investing properly in the product. And with all these crazy distractions and him burning his liberal cred by going crazy fucking right-wingy, it's not going to go well for them.
Yeah, that's what I was starting to say. Like he went right before the midterms and said vote Republican. You may agree or disagree with that, but it's undeniable that it's bad.
Not who buys his cars.
Right? It's not who buys his cars. And then you got a guy like Michael Jordan saying, hey, I don't get political because Republicans buy sneakers too. Right? That's a famous Jordan line. The Republicans barely bought Teslas in the first place. And now you're all in with them. Bad call.
Why do you think Republicans weren't buying Teslas?
I think I was looking at it as a green thing in the same way that I think Republicans don't really buy Priuses.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. And look, certain people are trying. I mean, have you seen the new electric Hummer? I mean, it's not for lack of trying. They're figuring out that
the Hummer went from, and this is like mid 2000s, so I'm like a teenager. I'm in high school. I remember the Hummer being the sickest of sick, cool things in 2004, 2005, and then by the time I was in college, you saw a Hummer. And people were like, wow, that's gay. And it's like, what?
Kryptonite,
when did we switch? 3 years ago, we all said it was a cool army truck. And now it's not a cool army truck.
We switched like a week after Hurricane Katrina.
Why?
Oh, yeah?
Because gasoline was $5 a gallon, and it never went back down again ever. Yeah, it's been crazy high since. It has.
Kyle's right. There was a very drastic shift right around Hurricane Katrina, and all of a sudden, gas guzzling, giant SUVs immediately became uncool. And one of the, if you look at GM, you look at Ford to an instance, you certainly look at Dodge, and they go, how do I get my middle America people to buy an electric car? You make it more wasteful than a gas car. That's how you do it. A 9,000 pound, 1,000 horsepower truck somehow is less efficient.
The weights
than a
of these
gas
cars
car.
are outrageous. The Rivian's 8,000 pounds.
Yeah, they're super heavy. Yeah, they are. That's no joke. Batteries are heavy as fuck.
I want to see like collision data, not about
it's not good. It's not good. I mean,
I want to know about the ones that explode.
Do you want it to tell you after you get in a wreck where it's like
pedestrians?
Kyle, mainframe?
Fuck pedestrians!
Damage.
Look. My favorite thing about Texas is those brush guards that they've all got on their fucking trucks. And people see that and they're like, "Oh, what an asshole! How big's your dick?" If you've ever driven it through Texas at night, that's your shield against the night. You need that motherfucker because they
hikers.
No, fucking deer. Fucking
no, you're gonna. If you're gonna,
I like my way better.
No, they always tell you when you see a hitchhiker in the road, you don't want to slow down. You because if you slow down, it can hurt you more. You just got to plow through them. It's a shame because they are living creatures, but
you need one there. You need a brush guard there.
Do you? Because the
deer,
because of the brush,
large roadkill. I guess I'll call it. Yeah.
Deer, fucking deer. Yeah. They make them specifically for deer. There's like a deer guard.
Are Texas deer different than the deer that North Carolina and Georgia have?
It's more about like the wide open nature, the overpopulation. That seems like I'm talking about just there are these big stretches of road where it seems like you're just driving through their habitat, and it's not like in Georgia where
you're driving 80 because it's Texas.
You're going fast. There's straightaways. Like
the speed limit is 80, and like the speed limit's 80. So people are going 110.
Taylor, did you think I drove 80 through Texas? You're adorable.
It's wide open.
In this group, I'm the biggest bitch driver. It's not even close.
but as you're going, you see like pods of deer every 5 minutes, like 3, 4, 5. Sometimes you'd be like, that's 17 of them out there. Like they're just hundreds and hundreds. I mean, that's why we're there. We're shooting stuff, like everywhere you went, there was something to shoot in Texas.